Sky Squad, we are back in the building and we got to talk about British Williams. Oh, yes, British Williams has pled guilty. Okay, guilty. Hot on the news that Evelyn Lozada would be coming back to Basketball Wives. Interesting timing on all of this news. I mean, it could just be coinky dink. Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? As Nene asked. I was looking to see if I had that clip. But anyway, let's get into it. So we're going to be talking about the news from two different sources today with regards to this bit of information. The first is the neighborhood talk. So let's head on over there. And so what you guys will notice is that okay, so let's get into it. It's 15 felonies, including bank fraud. That's a lot of felonies, y'all. That's a lot of felonies. That's a lot of felonies. Okay, including bank fraud, allegedly using other people's social security numbers to open up accounts with banks. Like that's a lot for it to be so kind of like downplayed. You know what I'm saying? With regards to the show, and we'll get into her post about it a little later. Okay, just give me 1 second. Um, so here's the thing: she pled guilty to 15 felonies in a St. Louis courtroom. Now, this is according to NBC4. They say British has pleaded guilty to 5 counts of misuse of a social security number, 4 counts. Okay, so that's 5 counts of misuse of a social security number. Okay, 4 counts of bank fraud, 3 counts of making false statements to the IRS, and 3 counts of wire fraud. Now, the fraud she pleaded guilty to amount to a hefty $446,000 in stolen funds. 400. Oh, that's almost $500,000, y'all. Now, according to the site, the U.S. Attorney's Office released a statement and said that British admitted to not accurately reporting her income on her recent tax returns and falsely claiming a niece and nephew as dependents. Now, the prosecutor said that she also avoided more than $29,000 in taxes from 2017 through 2019. They also say she allegedly used other people's social security numbers to open up accounts with credit card companies and banks. Like this was a whole scheme, man. This was a whole scheme. She apparently used those numbers to deposit checks totaling more than 23,000 from other people's accounts and withdrew the money. I mean, they was making a big deal about Jen Shaw. I mean, definitely Jen Shaw was. I mean, I think this was Jen Shaw. I think was way more money. Okay, was way more money, and for longer. Okay, so it says 3 pandemic frauds and insurance fraud are included in Williams' guilty plea. She submitted 9 applications for disaster loans aimed at helping businesses during the pandemic, 4 applications for the Paycheck Protection Program, and 1 application for a rent relief program in California. The plea says she used $144,000 in government loans for her personal lifestyle. Girl. Then they say British received $27,800 in rent relief after falsely claiming that she was a California resident with a total household income of less than $50,000 and had reduced work hours. Her work hours were not reduced because of the pandemic, the plea says. Also, her rent was reimbursed by the network that produces Basketball Wives, a TV show that she was featured on. Baby, British. Come on now. Come on now. Who convinced you that this would be a good thing to do? Now it says if she's convicted, she's looking at up to 30 years in the slammer for the bank fraud charges, 20 years for wire fraud charges, and up to 5 years each for the 5 charges of misusing a social security number. Miss Lady, Miss Lady, Miss Lady. Now, apparently, she's set to be sentenced on August 23rd. Okay. Now, you know, if this was Housewives of Salt Lake City, baby, they would be filming British all the way up to August the 23rd and a little bit beyond. Okay. Do you think that Basketball Wives will do the same? I mean, that's an interesting thought. That's an interesting thought. So let us proceed to what she had to say about it. So she posted this on her Instagram, which I thought was interesting. She says, anything I've went through that a normal person would go through privately, I went through publicly. Well, I don't think this is normal. Let me just start there. And I don't like how she's trying to paint this as a normal thing. And if she is trying to paint this as a normal thing, I guess this depends on how you read it, right? This could depend on how you read it. So I'm gonna give her that grace. But if I'm reading it in the way that I'm perceiving it, it's kind of like saying, well, normal people, would be going through this in private and nobody would know about it. But girl, like this ain't a normal activity, at least for me, unless you rolling with a bunch of people who this is normal for. Okay. She says, I hope my story and journey and my growth can help someone going through something similar or stops the next person from doing anything that could possibly have them in the same situation as me. Now, this part I like. She says, I am not ashamed. This part I'm not so sure about. She says, I am not fazed by comments or opinions. Okay. She says, I am proud of the woman and mother I am today. Everything I've been through, I needed to go through. I've learned patience, humility, and most of all, compassion for every walk of life. I don't believe in losses, just lessons to make better decisions in the future. Love you and thanks for rocking with me, British. This doesn't really sound like somebody that will be coming back to the show. Personally, just from the sounds of it, what do you guys think? Do you want to see her in the days and weeks, leading up to this? I'm interested in knowing what you guys think. Would you want to see them follow her story on Basketball Wives in any way, shape, or form? As we move forward and get closer to the sentencing of the situation. Now, I want to also head over to Reality Chat because they also posted this, but they also state and add that, because she posted this on her Instagram page and you guys can actually see it's still there. But the comments have been turned off. So I can't really see these comments. But, the ladies of the show, like Brooke Bailey, says, I love you, baby B. You're strong and God has his hands on your life. Brandon Maxfield says, love you. Jennifer Williams puts a heart. Duffy puts 2 hearts. It's very interesting to note the differences with how people are responding to this on Basketball Wives than they did to something um something kind of in the same ballpark, but maybe kind of in the same ballpark on Salt Lake City and the distance with which people are putting themselves between themselves and Jen Shaw. It's just interesting to me. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Do you want to see more of British? So we also got to talk real quickly, real quick. I mean, real nice and quick about Tiffany and Sheree. We got to have a follow up about that because our friends over at the Urban Bell Mag, Tiffany had posted this clip from Carlos King's interview with Tiffany Whitlow, which I need to go back and finish. I hadn't had a chance to finish it because I had been so intent on finishing my Young, Famous, and African review, and then also making sure I got, Atlanta Housewives done and all that kind of stuff like that. So I didn't get a chance to finish this. Well, one of the questions that Carlos asked was, when you mentioned the cheating, Sheree then said, I watched the show, you cheated too. What was your immediate reaction to her saying that? And so Tiffany says this. Tiffany says, it really doesn't matter. And I have changed and evolved. So if her answer is once a cheater, now you're not, then that's perfectly fine. But I was asking her for her opinion. How does it feel? How do you, Sheree, feel about Martell? Not how do you feel about me or why you want to compare the situation to what I did. Now, who knows whether or not she asked that follow-up question or not, but I think it's a valid question. I really, really do. Yes, true. Tiffany did admit to cheating, but the question is for Sheree because Sheree admits on Atlanta that she could see on his show that he is arrogant and cocky, but she's choosing to ignore what she sees on his show because he hasn't shown her that in real life. So, ergo, I think it's a great question for Tiffany to ask in retrospect because what it's saying is, he's a cheater in real life. Okay. Well, not in, let me not say in, well, of him cheating. Okay. Let's just say that. How does that make you feel? Period. Because a lot of you guys pointed out that Tiffany was really asking the questions that a lot of the people really want to know. So I thought some of Tiffany's questions were invasive. I thought some of them were spot on. I did. I did. I did. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation down in the comment section down below. I'm so interested. I need to go back and finish watching the interview with Carlos and Tiffany because I'm sure it's going to be good and revealing. And Tiffany has grown on me quite a bit this season. So I'm kind of interested now in seeing, okay, let's see more of where this Tiffany goes. Okay. With that being said, if you guys hear some noise in the background, the cleaners are here. So I'm trying to work around that. But with that being said, I will catch you all in the next video.